All right, so last time we were removing the Tesla subframe bushings. This front bushing was a complete pain in the ass. We actually ended up cutting the core out, relieved the tension by having that outer case split. We did actually chip this flange. My plan today, this needs to be sanded flush, and it would be a lot easier if most of that flange was gone already, and then I can just sand it flush without sanding any of the subframe cup itself. So I just want to focus on this plastic. I want to get as much of this rubber gone off of there as possible, and then I should be able to use my custom push-pull tool to make life a lot easier. So this is a completely new Model 3 subframe. I'm just going to start over again by removing this flange right here and then sanding flush with this top edge. Then I'll take my custom push-pull tool and I'll press them out once I have access without the flange on top of it. So clean. That is just factory fresh. Nice. It was so easy, it was unbelievable. There he is. Super clean. So awesome. Nice prep bushing surface right there. Nice polished edge here. Very smooth bore. Totally ready for the aftermarket bushings. And there's that pristine OEM one. Just had to shave this flange off and then it comes out super easy. We'll take a look at how clean that bore is. Oh my gosh. I don't think there's ever been a subframe OEM bushing removal that is this smooth. That's just crazy. Look at the shine on that thing. It's just perfect. This is just polished right here with a Scotch-Brite. So ready for the aftermarket bushings. Simple. Easy. These guys just pop out with a really solid whack. Quickly shave down the rubber that was sticking up of this surface. When we punch it through, that rubber will not be damping that hit. Pardon me? What's your space limit?
It's all wet inside, the oil.
Okay.
That one sat longer. The other one wasn't as wet, so we give it some time with some head treating oil, but it helps.
Like 30 minutes or 15 instead of
15
5?
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, so you just gotta hit the bottom, my one, this one. And
Top? And?
it's just easy to do, but. That's a good one.
Heated.
Just give it a couple light taps just to get it in, so it kind of chills in it by itself, and then we'll look at it and I'll tell you where you gotta hit it.
Okay, so I'm just going to start off with some light taps.
Yeah. Hit the bottom. Yeah, you gotta get them in there.
Anything?
Looks pretty straight. If anything, maybe the top a bit more, and it looks like you crook it this way, so hit it right here.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta,
Got it.
You gotta hit the bottom.
Ready?
Good.
ready to sand it. So this hole in the subframe was slightly smaller than the other three. Those three were pretty consistent, and this one was a couple tenths of a millimeter smaller. The bushing was a little harder to put in, eh?
Yeah, slightly. 3 taps and
I think once
obviously
they warm up,
go
it'll be
again.
good.
Yeah, well, they all needed a tap just at the end to like see.
They started.
Yeah.
And then they all go in from the bottom, so this subframe is upside down right now. So I marked it bottom, subframe's upside down. We put the bushings in from the bottom. Since they don't stick out through the top, that is what's going to raise the subframe. Solid subframe risers are installed. We're now looking at the subframe from the top. You can see that all of the solid bushings were slid in from the bottom up, so they do not protrude out of the top of the subframe. That's what is actually going to raise the subframe up. That's what makes these subframe risers. Now, for customers that do not want to raise their subframe, maybe the car's at stock height, doesn't need any sort of correction, we do include 4 spacers. So these can go on top, and when that is sandwiched between the body and the subframe is in the OEM location. If you do want to raise a subframe and you don't want your bolt to be too long, or you don't want to lose these, you could stack it under the bottom. We also have these shims. These go in the rear position, and that just makes a very small difference on the height, just to match the stock overall stack height of the bushings, as well as protecting the thin sheet metal of the body against this edge, which we felt was important for the rear, whereas the front is going up against a very solid part of the unibody.